Let's talk about how Meta Ads' pixel works in 2024. So, for instance, let's say you're selling ice cream. You're selling ice cream, and most of your business comes with cars that see a billboard on the highway, and you've bought a lot of billboards. How do you know which billboard is the most effective? Well, Meta Ads operates in a similar way. The more billboards you have out there, the more you will learn what is working. But it is important to note that not all billboards are built for the same purpose. And the same is true with Meta Ads. So, for instance, this craving an ice cream 2 miles ahead is our awareness getter. Now, we might be in the car for a long time. We might have kids in the car. We might just need an opportunity or an excuse to stop. Giving us this information well enough in advance allows us to make a decision between this billboard and 2 miles ahead. But when we're making this billboard, it might be irresponsible to think that this billboard is as effective without this one down here. So, would you know that this world's best ice cream shop is next had you not seen this before? Maybe this one didn't matter. Maybe this is the only one you saw, and suddenly the urgency is there for the next stop. How effective is the world's best in this billboard? Well, you can argue that all of these have a really, really unique emotional play into why you should stop for the world's best ice cream, and also an opportunity to showcase that you have over 100 flavors of ice cream. These are all really important, but what's really even more important to remember is not all of these messages resonate with the same person. And the same is true with Meta ads in the year 2024. Now, a business owner might argue that this is the one billboard that you need to have. It's the world's best ice cream. It's right next to the ice cream shop. And if someone didn't know any better, they'd say, well, this is the only one we need because clearly it's right next to the shop. And that's the reason people are stopping in for ice cream. Well, if you have cars going different directions on a road and there are different passengers that pay attention to different things, you definitely need data points behind all of these pieces. But the important thing is to note is how we're looking at these KPIs or key performance indicators to let us know if it's working where it's supposed to. For instance, one owner might say, hey, this is the best one. I give people well enough notice in advance. If they didn't know that they had 2 miles to decide if they wanted ice cream, then my business wouldn't be as effective. And there's another owner, like we already talked about, that thinks they only need one right next to it, next exit, next stop, or right next to the shop itself. Well, what's important to know is again, not everyone behaves the same way. Luckily, with Meta ads, we have these data points behind all of these different cars and passengers. Now, it's important to note that over time in meta ads, we'll eventually find these different billboards or creatives that do both. They tell a story, they're enough for an awareness, and they actually can drive sales because they're tapping in to emotional needs from our customers. But we can't get there without at least trying out a bunch of different types of creative, which is why a rapid creative testing approach is the best thing you can do with meta ads in 2024 and Google for that matter. The more ads you try out, the more data points you get behind, and the less you have to guess. However, it is important to note that not every ad you have in market is going to have the same KPI or key performance indicator. Now, there might be a case where if you are advertising something like 2 miles ahead, that might be the equivalent of using awareness or branding objectives in meta ads. Now, some might argue that awareness or branding objectives in meta ads are best used as sales or lead campaigns themselves. I'm here to say that's not necessarily true unless you have a ton of data behind your meta ads account. The reason that is because Meta is going to find those people and pay attention to your brand way cheaper and have a way bigger reach than any sales or lead objective could. And what I mean by that is that you might pay anywhere from $2 to $3 for a click to your website. And knowing that maybe one of every 100 people will convert at first, that becomes pretty expensive. Now you're paying somewhere in the means of $100 to $200 cost per acquisition for your business. Now, if I could tell you that you can get ad views for a penny, and suddenly that $100 gets you 10,000 views, the remarketing or the next stop billboard is way more effective because now you might be only be paying $1.25 to $1.40 for that customer, and then you're taking in the acquisition or the awareness cost of just a few dollars. So now your customer acquisition becomes maybe $80 or $100.10, something that's way more efficient than just that $200. Now, the reason that Meta behaves this way is because it knows that it's going after people with a million data points that are still more likely to pay attention to your ad. Because Meta, its goal to its stakeholders is to keep people on the platform. So if I can serve an ad to you and you click on it and you go to the next site, and maybe after that you're done browsing, Meta now lost you, right? They lost you as a user in that current session. But if it can achieve longer success by serving your ad to more people over that period of time, it not only keeps people on the platform, but it creates an audience for you to remarket to down the road. Now, obviously, it's making money because you're paying it to serve ads on your behalf. But if it's more effective, that benefits both your business and it benefits Meta ads. So there's really no such thing unless you are a very long window. You're offering maybe a very expensive coaching platform or coaching, life coaching service, something that people have to really consider a high price tag for, then there might be room for some middle ground or middle funnel to tell some more brand value or second chance messaging to say, hey, not only did you know our brand, but did you know we can also do this? Well, most of the time that's effective enough as remarketing. Someone knows your brand. Let's say you have mostly, if you're doing it the right way, video in your top of funnel campaigns, and people are watching 75% of those videos. Well, now they're aware of your brand. You don't really need to hit them twice. The people that are actually going to convert in a sea of millions of users on Meta only need one more nudge. Now, I don't say that guaranteed that they may not have to see your ad and the frequency have to be 3 or 4 in a sales or leads campaign, but they already know your service. They watched majority of the ad you put in front of them for the first time. So now is the opportunity to really narrow down your value proposition, really give them a reason, an emotional connection to connect with your brand, to buy, to be a lead, to sign up for something. Why that's effective is because you need to utilize our method in Adverlytx, and you can always sign up for adverlytx.com. You can take our free course, or you can sign up for our full course to understand the ways to find what emotional language is connecting with your customer way cheaper and way more effective and efficient than spending thousands and 10,000s of dollars on creative that may be missing the mark. But you don't have to do that. You can still understand that